Welcome to Duck Hoops episode 9 here live through the internet. I'm Charlie Duckworth.
I'm Matt Duckworth.
And we're two ducks and we like to talk about basketball.
Yes, we do.
So let's get right into it. Let's talk about last week's games already.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a lot to talk about on today's slate so far, like the past few episodes. The fact that we've been able to start off with live updates. So let's start off with last week's games and the games that we predicted. What was the first one we had?
We had the UNC Tar Heels versus Virginia.
We had UNC versus Virginia. That game was UNC 85 to Virginia 80 in that one. That was, I believe, UNC's biggest comeback no, I'm thinking of the Virginia game last night. That was a pretty big comeback for UNC. They were down 16 in the first half, and then they came back and they won by 5 right there. I mean, really, Caleb Wilson had a pretty decent game for himself, 20 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. But Seth Trimble as well, the senior guard, 16, 5, and 2 on 5 for 6 shooting. And UVA, I feel like when we talk about Virginia this year, it's really been, I'm not going to pronounce the first name, I'm not going to do it, DeRitter off of Virginia. They're a freshman forward at 20 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists. He has just been clinical this year. He was very good in that Notre Dame game last night, but they just couldn't pull away this one against the Tar Heels.
No, both of us got it wrong. Both of us had the Cavaliers getting this victory. UNC needed this win. I think it's a big confidence builder for them. They've got a couple battles with Duke coming up, and what can you say? I mean, Coach Brown's got a good squad there. They're resilient. Like you said, they were down 16 and they were able to fight their way back in. So big victory for the Tar Heels.
And I mean, this UVA, they've been able to bounce back, yes, but it kind of does raise questions about them. Last night they went down to overtime in South Bend against Notre Dame. Are there questions starting to rise with the Cavaliers out there? Are they as good as that billing of the 17th team in the nation?
Yeah, I think they are. I think that at times there's lulls in their scoring, and I think a lot of teams are dealing with that. I think they're well coached though, and I think they'll be a good tournament team. Do I think they'll make noise? Do I think they'll be a second weekend team? I don't know about that, but they're a quality squad. Like I said, I think this is more about a big win for UNC.
Yeah, and then what was the next game?
We had the Fighting Illini versus the Boilermakers.
This is a game that I believe I got right, didn't I?
You did. I had Purdue and you had Illinois.
I think I had Illinois by around 6 as well. I don't want to flex it, but I think I had it around 6. They won 88. They won 88 to 82 in Mackey Arena. And what can you say except Keaton Wagler might be the best freshman guard possible? 46 points, 9 for 11 from 3, a 76% shooter from the field as a whole. I mean, that second half especially, he took off. He owned this game against Purdue. And really, I mean, someone who is my age going into the toughest environment that you could probably go into in the Big Ten and having 46 like it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's very, very impressive.
It's a hell of a game, and it's a testament to this Illinois team because you think of Stojakovic and you think of some of the other players on the team, and then all of a sudden this freshman guard goes in there and drops 46. Purdue's, man, it's not been looking too great for the Boilermakers lately.
They are a questionable team. They're starting
to show some vulnerability. Yeah,
the sirens are starting to kind of rise up.
Well, what I've noticed about them is in the Iowa State game, they have trouble defending at the perimeter, man. And if you've got good guards, you might be able to cook them a little bit. And they're not as big and strong as they used to be down low with, of course, not having Edey anymore. And I think there's some vulnerability. But I think just like with UNC, I think this is more about Illinois. the Fighting Illini are a good squad. I was just talking about how I didn't think Virginia could be a second weekend team. I damn sure think Illinois could. I think Illinois could be a Final Four team if they catch heat at the right time.
If they have just consistent shooting and that big
Yeah,
up, especially. I think the conference tournament's a big part for them. If they can have a good tournament output there, I can kind of see that heat staying
yeah,
into the national tournament.
that was a big win, a signature win for them for sure.
Yeah, and so our next game on
Next,
the docket.
man, this was a impressive victory as well as the Houston Cougars get down by the Texas Tech Raiders. Man, what a ball game!
I mean, absolutely 90-86. And I want to say again, last week I was on something, I guess, because I was on fire. I was talking about how this game matters down to Kingston Flemings, their freshman guard, Houston. He had 42. I was doubting how hot he could really get. I mean, 42, 2-6, 57% from the field. They lost by 4, but I mean, it was really him and Emmanuel Sharp. No one else on Houston really could get a bucket in that game. I mean, Houston scored 86. 62 of those points came from Flemings and Sharp right there. I think that could spell some disaster come tourney time if they can't get them up hot.
I agree with you, and this is the story every year with Houston. I mean, they typically play great defense. They're fundamental, but where's the scoring going to come from? When you've got 62 of how many? 86?
86, yeah.
62 of 86 coming from two guys, man. Coach Sampson's got to be wondering where he's going to get some more scoring from. That said, dude, I mean, still a close ball game, and Texas Tech is a really quality team. We'll get into our top 10s later. I think they're right up there with the top of the crop in the Big 12. So a big victory. We both ended up predicting that one correctly.
I want to give you a stat real quick. I just did the math here. 72% of the points from Houston were those two right there. Yeah. 72. Well, that is a terrible percentage to have.
It's not good. It reminds me of my high school days or not my high school days, but my days working at the old school Democrat Argus. I think it's called the Biblical Scott Press now. I remember Carrie Shepard, who was probably the best single basketball player I covered. I remember a stretch where I covered a game where South Tim ladies scored 50, and she either scored or assisted on 48 of those. I mean, so once you get to a better squad, they're just going to they're going to focus on those guys, and other people are going to have to step up. I think Coach Sampson's going to have to figure that out in practice, and I think he will. I think there's some other guys on that squad that can score, but my hat's off to Texas Tech. Toppin and that whole squad are very good, and I think they're going to be a factor in this Big 12.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Big 12 that it really feels like at the top you have Arizona, and then you kind of have a tier 2 of the rest of them that are really, really good. Arizona just has shown to me that they are that different level team.
Yeah, well, I saw Charles Barkley say today, I was watching NBA Today, and he said, it's almost time for me to cover the tournament. He's calling it the Arizona Invitational. That's how good he thinks they are. Now, I disagree with that. I think that they are definitely in those handful of teams that can win it all, but I don't think it's that much of a foregone conclusion.
All right.
Next
up,
game? Charlie, we had the Volunteers going to Tuscaloosa to play Alabama.
This one, oh my, you've disappeared.
I know. I dropped my pencil.
This one, 79-73. The Vols unranked get a win over Alabama. Alabama, I want to talk about them a lot because this is the Charles Bediako return game for the Tide. I mean, he had 13-3 and 2 steals, 2 blocks as well. But it obviously didn't change much, I guess, because Tennessee won. And now I feel like the conversation with Alabama is, are they good enough to win the SEC? Because as the record has shown, there are teams that are now way ahead of them in the SEC, I feel like. And they've taken a back seat this year. And it's kind of weird when last year, around this time, we were talking about number one in the nation being Auburn, number two in the nation being Alabama, and Alabama's number 23. But and they, I mean, I'm not gonna say that they didn't stop Mizzou last night, but uh, but they have Florida this weekend. So
Hmm.
if they lose to Florida, what are they going to be unranked too? And then you have an unranked Bama, unranked Auburn in these arguments.
Well, part of this is the SEC really scheduled tough out of conference this year. But I do agree with you. I think that Bama is a vulnerable team right now, not on the level of Kentucky or some of these other squads, but I think that they are definitely vulnerable. And I don't necessarily think Nate Oates has got what it takes down there this year to make a deep run. But I don't know. We'll see. Props go to Rick Barnes in Tennessee, man. I can't figure them out. Every time I think they're upper echelon, they end up taking a loss. Of course, Kentucky come back and bit them. And I just, I don't know. I think the SEC, there is a lot of parity in that conference this year. I think it's still a top three conference, but
Yeah.
man, there's a lot of really good teams there. And me and you both got this one wrong. We both went with the Tide there at home.
Yeah. I want to mention this. Since conference play has started, Tennessee has lost by 11 to Arkansas, beat
Mhm.
Texas by 14, lost to Florida by 24, beat A&M by 5, lost to Kentucky by 2, beat Alabama by 6, and right now they're down 3 to Georgia.
Yeah,
So I mean, who
yeah,
knows what's
that,
going on here? They're the biggest flip floppers ever.
yeah. I can't get a read on them. Not right now. I can't. What I'm seeing out of them is kind of what I've been judging teams by all night. Like, do I think this team makes a run to the second weekend? Well, I guess it depends on seeding, but do I think they're one of the 16 teams, best teams in the nation right now? I don't know, man.
No, no.
It's tough to say. The next game we had was an absolute beatdown as the Duke Blue Devils clobbered Louisville. Uh, I mean, not a whole lot to say about it. Cam Boozer, another fantastic night, 19 points, 8 of 16 from the field, 10 rebounds. I always say his name wrong. Help me pronounce it. Patrick
Badunga?
Badunga with 15, and Isaiah Evans throws in another 15. Uh, Another statement win from Duke. They've got guys that can score it from all over the place. And, we were talking about Kentucky and the wheels falling off. Man, maybe they're falling off with Louisville as well.
Maybe Kentucky just doesn't have any wheels left to
Mm,
stand on. I mean, this was a bona fide beatdown. This was a healthy Michael Brown Jr.
yeah.
too.
What he
Like
had,
this,
like 7 or something?
yeah, 7, 2, and 4 in
Yeah.
33 minutes. I mean, this
Yeah.
is a Louisville team that shot 29% from the field. They were
Yeah.
16 for 54. They only made 16 shots from the field all night. While I mean Duke, they scored 31 shots on 61 attempts, which I mean 31, 16, that's a 15 shot difference or 15 make difference, right? That doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot when you
That's a
really
hell of a
look at
lot.
it.
It's
Yeah.
a hell of a lot. Duke just keeps on rolling. Louisville better figure it out, man. I mean, we're almost to February, and they're reeling a little bit. They need to start stacking some victories in the conference, but we'll see how that goes. The next game we had was also one hell of a ball game, man.
Whoa.
Arizona goes to Provo and picks up the victory over the Cougars. Man, 86-83. What a dang ball game.
That was a war between two of the best freshmen in the country
Yeah,
right
Braden
there.
Burris, I mean, he pops in 29 points and has that big block down the stretch. Jaden Bradley throws in 26. And then, of course, AJ, he drops 24 for BYU. But I think the line that really got me in that game, son, was he was only 6 of 24 from the field.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, I think it kind of shows how much that BYU kind of relies on him when
yeah,
they get down
I
into
agree.
those depths, and I think that's what's going to kill them come March. Is if Saunders, I mean, he had 18, but Kennard Davis, he was shooting abysmal in that first half. He was terrible in that first half. He then lights it up. I mean, he had 15 for the whole game, But when you have AJ who's having to chuck up every shot, and Saunders isn't able to get open, and then Kennard Davis can't even hit a shot, like that's like 10 feet. I mean, what's gonna happen right there? You're
Yeah.
gonna lose.
Yeah, championship teams got to have multiple guys that can then chuck it in. I mean, this week we're going to talk about our 5 greatest teams of all time. One thing about all those teams is they had really solid players. So if someone had an off night, this BYD team seems one-dimensional, whereas this Arizona team keeps impressing me. Koa Pete, not that big a night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Bradley Burst and the rest of the squad stepped up. So big win for Arizona. That's what I've been waiting to see from them. And who knows? Maybe they'll be a little flippy floppy in the top 10 this week. I don't know.
Hey, maybe there will. Maybe there won't. I know that you are a staunch Blue Devil fan
Well,
over
I'm not
there.
a fan. I just say, I just appreciate the basketball I'm seeing. Don't get it twisted. I know there's a lot of Blue Devil fans out there, but last was another great ball game. Nebraska just barely loses to Michigan. I saw an article today that talked about this game. It was 75-72 Michigan. And they were saying that this was actually, a lot of people don't like moral victories, but kind of a moral victory for Nebraska. I think
I mean,
people
it
have
kind of
wanted to
was.
see if they're for real or not. Well, they just went up with what's the number 3 team in the nation, I believe,
Yes.
and gave them everything that they had. Probably should have won the ball game. Yeah, that's a heck of a showing from the Huskers and a good gritty win from Michigan. That shows why they're at the top there.
Yeah, and the stat that I want to highlight here at the end of the game, I mean, Nebraska, they went 0 for 10 down the stretch. The 10 straight missed threes as a team
Yeah.
right there. I mean, they were able to get rebounds at the end. They kept in the game, right? But the second that Michigan saw some blood, it was like it was it was like they were just the hungrier team. They wanted it more.
Well, I think your text that you sent me last night, you said Nebraska choked on this, and I think you're 100% right. They had it, and this would have been one of the biggest victories in Nebraska basketball history.
This would have been the biggest victory in
Probably
Nebraska
so.
basketball history.
Because, I mean, then you would have talked about Nebraska being in the top 3 maybe in the polls. I do not think they're going to fall far, though. And I think there's a lot of positives out of there. I think Michigan, they got D'd up a little bit on here. Lindenberg only had 10. I think Mortez Johnson Jr. led them with 17. They've had a little bit of trouble scoring lately. But, eking out big victories like this at the end of January, that's a huge thing. So,
Yeah, it's one of those where you kind of have to sit back and go, well, maybe Nebraska might be better now because they've taken that punch
I
to the
think so.
face. Because I mean, now they've seen that competition fully. They've seen the elite, so now they can kind of start to climb up to that elite level.
I agree
there.
with you.
I think the potential Nebraska Michigan rematch in the Big Ten tournament it would be a generational game probably for the
Yeah,
tournament title.
I mean, Nebraska's they're gonna be there.
Yeah.
And they're not going anywhere. I think they're a talented squad, but props to Michigan. That's what truly great teams do. They win close ball games in conference play, man.
I wish I remember where I saw it. It was this post that said, 15 seed can do the funniest thing ever this year to Nebraska. Talking about how
Oof.
Nebraska hasn't won a tournament game ever.
Oh Lord, yeah, we saw them take a loss 2 years ago.
Yeah. And I mean, so let's. I got a few graphics tonight, so I'm gonna pull
All
up one
right,
real
spice
quick.
it up, baby.
This is talking about Saturday. This is a quote from the Blue Blooded podcast talking about how this is the greatest freshman class of all time. How are we feeling about this? I mean, Saturday they made history. This freshman class, Wagler, Flemings, and Dybansa were the first ever 3 freshmen on the same day to drop 40 points in a game. On the same day. I mean that Wagler 46, Flemings 42, Dybansa and the Holy War had 43.
There's a lot of talent. There's no doubt about it. this freshman class is loaded. Do I think it's the greatest of all time? I don't know. I'd have to dive in and do some research on that. I do know that this is going to be one of the best NBA drafts in a while. I
Yeah,
do think that if you're, you know, top five, six, seven, man, you probably got a lock on a, I don't know if you want to use the term franchise player, but you've got a lock on a guy that
a
could.
elite,
Oh
elite.
yeah, a guy that could easily be an all star in a year or two. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and I mean,
Um,
we we
you know,
we think about who could potentially get these guys. I mean, I know the Clippers have been making this climb back up, an historic climb back up, but who knows what happens for the rest of the year? Who knows how the lottery falls? The Thunder might be getting that draft pick still
they
come April.
well, the Pacers, who are I know having an off year right now because Tyrese is hurt and everything else, they may end up with the top pick in the draft. I mean,
Yeah,
anything could happen. It's going to be really interesting. Do I think that that's an overreach? No, I think it could possibly be, man. You know,
yeah.
kids are really playing a lot of high level basketball these days. I'm not the biggest AAU fan, but it does give people exposure. And then you got all these prep schools, and man, there's a lot of talent coming out. And it's going to be curious to see how many of these guys enter into the draft. We know that AJ, Darren Peterson, I'm pretty damn sure Cam Boozer. Uh, I would think a lot of those guys are going to go. It's going to be interesting to see if any of them come back.
Yeah, and I mean, you wonder, do they think that they have a better shot next year? It's kind of like the NFL draft. Do you think you have a better shot next year
Yeah.
at being a number one overall pick than you have this year? Because if you're looking at the top part of this graphic, I mean, you got Caleb Wilson, Kingston Flemings, Keaton Wagler. They definitely don't have that shot probably of being the number one overall pick. So do they go back 1 year for college and go, okay, well, I have a shot now at being that franchise guy, being that guy that someone could look at and go, I want him to be my number one draft pick.
I think Flemings and Wagner both could come back. Caleb Wilson's going. I'm pretty sure his stock's been rising, man, and he's got NBA guard written all over him. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I think that, and then I think that that bottom three line is all going. The only one that gives me a little trepidation is Boozer because Duke has been known to keep players. I mean, and he could stick around, but man, I just don't see it. I think that at least four of those six, if not all six, will be in the NBA draft next year.
And you know where one of them's going? One of them's going to the beautiful metropolis of Milwaukee.
Mm.
And they're going to have a lot of fun there.
Well, before we move on, real quick, give me over or under. You think Giannis was going to be a buck when we talk next week?
Oh no, I don't think so. At this rate, I know how Jimmy Haslam operates a team. Uh, he's been their owner for a couple of years. He's the Browns owner,
Yeah.
too. And I was just talking about this. He's had more scandals as the owner of Love's Oil than he's had playoff wins under the Browns. Think, of, think about that. Think about that. That is the man that they sold this Bucks franchise to. The franchise that just won a ring like a year before, and they gave it
Yeah.
to Haslam. And what happened? They fired Budenholzer, which was good. They hired Adrian Griffin. They were 30-13 with them, and then they fired him for Doc Rivers.
Well, what's funny, folks? I'm asking this. Charlie's a diehard Bucks fan, and I'm a big Knicks fan, and there's been a lot of rumblings that we're going to be in the mix there. I don't think we'll end up with him, but
I hope he goes to the Wolves at this
wouldn't
rate.
that be
I
funny?
hope he goes to the Wolves.
Okay. What we got next there, little dog?
Well, I wanna have a chat about another game that happened last night. It was Indiana versus Purdue
Mm.
in Bloomington. Indiana 72, Purdue 67. Purdue's on a 3-game losing streak, and I I think it's kind of time that we raise the siren 10% on Purdue. I think that this is a scary time for the Boilermakers because this is a time where they should have beat Indiana in this game.
Mhm.
They had chances to beat Indiana, but the crowd, the atmosphere, everything just got to them, and now they have this easy slate. These next two games, they got Maryland and Oregon. But you know who the next 4 teams they play?
Who's up?
At Nebraska,
Mm,
Michigan,
mm.
Indiana again, Michigan State.
Well, I think if you have any questions about Purdue, they'll be answered in that 4-game streak because those are 4 of the best teams in the nation. Uh, Indiana, maybe not as much. Three
in
of
a
the
pretty
4. But
three in a pretty
what I'm
good
saying
team.
is that's a brutal schedule there. And they better get it
That's a terrifying
together
one.
because, I mean, on any given night in that tough conference, Maryland or Oregon could give them a game too. I mean, hell, they've already lost to UCLA.
Yeah, I mean it's at College Park, the Maryland game.
I gave Purdue a lot of benefit of the doubt, but I mean, they're definitely starting to show big holes, and that's not going to help them when it comes down to seeding time. Man, you don't want to be on that 7-8 line. You want to be up there above that 5 for sure. So I mean, it might be time to sound it.
And then the Sirens in Lexington, I think, are at an 80 now. They were on a 5-game win streak, and now it feels like all that momentum has been punched into a fine pulp. I mean,
they got dog walked by Vanderbilt.
If you would have told me 5 years ago Vanderbilt would be dog walking Kentucky, I would have probably thrown a computer at a wall.
This Kentucky team is extremely dysfunctional. There's talent there, and if they can ease into the tournament, which is it is an if now, folks. I mean, they've got a couple quality wins, but like if they get in, they could be dangerous for a game or two. But here's my thing is I just don't think that they've got anywhere near the consistency to make a run. And I think most people in Lexington really thought in what is this, the second year of Mark Pope, right? Yeah. That they really were going to make
Final Four squad.
I think a lot of people thought this was a Final Four squad. You're correct. It is not. I can tell you that much. They're going to be lucky, man, if they get into the tournament and win a ball game.
I mean, we had that argument with Purdue about their schedule. Kentucky, this weekend, they got Arkansas. Then they have Oklahoma. Okay, you have the worst team in the conference. Then you have Tennessee, okay, at Florida. Georgia, who have proven to be something, at least. Yeah. I mean, they then at Auburn, at South Carolina. Okay, you play the third worst team in the conference. And then they finish out the month of February in Vanderbilt, or playing Vanderbilt again.
Yeah, and it's tough road to hoe, man. We'll see. I think the alarm has definitely been sounded, and if they have a bad run throughout here, man, they're going to be on a low line if they make the tournament. So,
and then I mean, let's talk about. I know that you got a text today talking about these 2 teams. Let's talk about them real quick. Miami of Ohio and SLU.
Man.
I mean, man, they are 2 teams that just will not lose no matter what. I mean, Miami of Ohio, another close win. The line was 9.5, Miami of Ohio. And I don't know how many games this year that they've covered the spread.
I can tell you, they haven't covered any of the last handful.
Yeah.
The godfather of BSN, Mark Manley, sent me a message about that today. And he's absolutely right, man. If you want to talk about a couple mid-major schools that could make some noise, Miami of Ohio is undefeated, along with Arizona is the only 2 undefeated NCAA D1 schools left. And then St. Louis, I believe they lost last night. Did they not?
Oh, no. Robbie would be a game winner.
That's
game
right.
Winner in Chaffetz.
Man, they've got guys that can score. Where did that kid play last year?
He played at SLU last year. Half that team was Indiana State's team.
That's right.
Yeah. Derry Bird.
And man, dude, they're deep. He doesn't have to carry them. On any average night, they could have 4, 5, 10-point scores. I think Mark's absolutely right. Both of those teams are dangerous. It's going to be interesting to see where they get seeded at by the end of the year.
It just kind of matters on their finish.
Well, and the tournament's all about seeding, man, and that's what makes March Madness and NCAA basketball so interesting is you just never know because you could have this great year, but then you catch let's say one of them gets as high as a 5 line, which is very possible.
Yeah.
what happens when you get lined up with a number 12 team like, I don't know, a Kentucky or somebody we're talking about? It's very possible. But yeah, I think Mark was right on point with those, man. Those are two teams to watch out for.
I mean, let's bring up the question I asked a couple weeks ago. What if Miami of Ohio just runs the table here and they go undefeated, win the MAC? Where do you put them? Because they have an argument to be a pretty, not like obviously not a 1, not a 2, not a 3, not a 4, but they have that 5, 6, that 7
I
argument right
actually
there.
think either them or SLU could end up on the 5 line. I mean, it just a lot of things depend on how everything shakes out. If Miami of Ohio goes undefeated, like you said, it's hard to see them getting on the 4, but maybe
Yeah.
definitely a 5, I would think.
I
And
mean,
then
they have an argument to that no one wanted to play them this year. That's been their whole thing. No one's wanted to play them because they were scared of losing
I wouldn't want to
to a
either.
mid-major.
They can score points, and I mean, they can do it quick. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So do we want to get into our predictions for
let's do
this
it.
upcoming week? All
Let's
right.
do it.
So let's go over to Friday. Two pretty big games. I'm going to include both of them here.
Okay.
Two top 25 games here. First of all, one of them's bigger than the other. Michigan versus Michigan State, Friday night in East Lansing.
Man, you want to talk about a heavyweight fight right here. I mean, you've got the Wolverines who have, early in the year were demolishing everybody. They took in a loss, but then they bounced back against a good Nebraska team. Then you got Michigan State, who was down pretty big last night, down 16 last night, and came back and won their ball game. Coach Izzo's got something cooking over there this year. This one is a toss-up to me. With the ball game being in East Lansing, I'm going to take the Spartans. I think Michigan's been playing with its food a little bit lately. You cannot do that with a Coach Izzo coach team. Give me Michigan State in an extremely close one.
I think that Michigan State wins outright. The spread is out on this game.
Okay, what you got?
It's Michigan minus 1.5. I think that's going to be a Michigan State outright win. I think they win. I think Jeremy Fears is going to have a big game come Friday. I think that this is his chance to show why he is one of those guards that are just so elite, because his name doesn't get shown out a lot because
it doesn't,
because there's so many guards right now that are just so elite.
Yeah. Well, we both got Michigan State in that one. I think that's going to be a heck of a ball game and must-see viewing on Friday night for sure.
Then the next game, it's an A10 classic. Are we ready here? It is Dayton, who we've watched a few times this year.
Yeah.
And then they play St. Louis in Chaffetz Arena. And I'm gonna say this one is a trap game for SLU right here. I don't want to say trap game because, well, Dayton's 14-7. Who knows? The A10 is just that conference where anything can happen.
I agree.
Feels like, and I could see Dayton going into Chaffetz and beating SLU. Do I think that's going to happen? No. I think SLU's probably going to win by 6. But I'm just saying, like, you could possibly.
Well, SLU does go through scoring droughts at times, but they do have a lot of guys that can score it. I do think Dayton is a solid squad, but there's no way I'm picking against the Billikens at Chaffetz Arena. It's been snowy up there. People are going to get out. They're going to want something to do. Give me Derry Bird and the Billikens.
All right. So our next game on the docket, we are going to go to Saturday, 3:30 on ESPN. It's a Big 12 elite clash right here. Number 13, the 17-3 BYU Cougars versus the 15-5, number 14, Kansas Jayhawk.
Well, BYU has been one of those teams all year long that's been hard for me. They were in my honorable mentions, I feel like, for the first 6, 7 episodes of this show. I said that they if they beat Arizona that I would rank them. They played them tough, but you know,
They're not getting ranked, buddy.
and now you got to go to Fog Allen, and you got to play a Kansas team that at times has looked really good and at times has looked really vulnerable. But I think that some of the things have been worked out. I think Coach Self's health is kind of
Yeah,
worked
I
out
think
right
he's back.
now.
I think he's back.
Peterson's health seems to be good. I'm not picking against the Jayhawks in a big game at Fog Allen. Give me Rock Chalk Jayhawk by 4 or 5. I think AJ does have a big game. He probably goes for 30, but I think Kansas figures out a way to get it done.
I wonder what the spread will be on this game when it comes out. It's kind of an interesting one here because
I think
obviously
it'll be a
Kansas.
pick 'em or possibly BYU by a point and a half.
I could see Kansas 2.5 here because they get that home bonus. Plus,
Yeah,
who knows what BYU team's going to come out here. But
that's right.
you know what? I've picked against them too many times. I picked against both these teams too many times. Uh, the Mormons are going to win. I'm going to
Oh,
say it.
okay.
The Cougars. I'm going to question how many Mormons are really on that team, but I'm just going to say they're going to win by 5. They're going to win by 5.
That'd be a big signature victory right there. Would be big for the resume if they can go into Fog Allen and beat Kansas. That'd be a good one. I don't see it happening, but that'd be a big win.
It could. I'm not doubting the fact it could happen. The next one, Kentucky, going on the road to play Coach Cal.
Man,
Arkansas. I could see Coach Cal wanting to kill Kentucky. I could see him if they get up there in like a 10-point lead or so. I could see him going, okay, let's just don't let it stay close this whole game.
I'm big on Arkansas, but man, they have been inconsistent. I mean, they had to come back last night to beat Oklahoma. Um, I think that this is a trap game. I think Kentucky is gonna give it everything they got. And I think if this game was in Lexington, I'd pick Kentucky, but it's not. It's at Bud Walton, and you're right about Coach Cal. Man, he's going to want to prove that he was the better coach, and I
He
think
won
that
the divorce.
he's going to win the divorce here. I think Kentucky will give them a good fight, but in the end, I think Arkansas will pull away. Give me the Razorbacks.
All right. I missed one on this Saturday slate, and
Who you?
very,
First of all,
very.
are you
Oh,
taking
I'm taking
Arkansas as
Arkansas.
well?
Yes, I'm taking Arkansas.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought I said.
Okay.
I missed one on this early slate on Saturday. 2 16-4 Big 12 teams. One of them though is ranked 11. The other one is unranked. It is Texas Tech going on the road to Orlando at Addition Financial Arena. I believe that's the title.
Yeah.
To play UCF. And I
Hmm.
think this one is another trap game. Here,
Yeah.
I can see UCF, the palm trees, the inflatable palm trees, live in my head.
You love those, don't you?
I do. I can see the inflatable palm trees being on the court at the end of that game.
I mean, the Golden Knights have played some good ball this year. I just feel like Texas Tech's on a rip right now. Toppin is another guy I feel like that a lot of people don't talk about as much as AJ and some of the other top guys. Even though his bank account's looking as good as anybody's in NCAA basketball right now.
Looking better than yours.
I think, yeah, no doubt. I think UCF will give it a fight, but I think Tech's they're just riding the hot hand. Give me the Raiders.
I'm picking the Raiders too. And one more Saturday. It is late night with the West Coast. It is St. Mary's versus Gonzaga, the only West Coast game that matters ever. Actually, I will talk about Gonzaga. Did I think move down in my top 10 because of a game that they played last week in the West Coast Conference.
Yeah.
I will talk about that later. But this is a weird one because it's kind of the same spot that this game was a couple of years ago, where St. Mary's is 19-3, but they're not getting a lot of love because they really haven't had that win yet. They really haven't. Their non-conference, the one big non-conference game they played was Vandy, and they got beat in Atlantis. Then they lost to Santa Clara earlier this month, and I think this is kind of like how it was a couple of years ago when Gonzaga's coming in. They're 21-1. Their one loss is to Michigan, but since then they've been unstoppable. They've been
Hmm.
unbreakable. I think St. Mary's goes into Spokane and beats them. I
Well,
I think the Gales win.
I'm going to mark that down. Uh, I couldn't disagree with you more. I think Gonzaga has been waiting for this game because, like you said, this is the game in that conference. This is where Gonzaga gets to prove to the rest of the nation, hey, we're legit, as if they didn't already prove that by beating Alabama by a million earlier this year. Give me Gonzaga, and it's not close. I say the
Oh,
Zags win by double digits.
okay, okay, okay. I see. I see that we differ a whole lot on that
Hmm.
that front.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think so.
then
Now, I will say, if St. Mary's wins this ball game, then they start making a case for that being a two bid league. But
I think it is a two bid league right now.
mm,
I'm looking
okay,
at it bracketology. I have the bracketology facts. They are considered a two bid league according to
yeah,
Lenardi.
I think this would
Uh,
lock it in, especially
okay,
beating Gonzaga in
in
Seattle or
Spokane.
Spokane. Yeah,
Yeah. Then we have two games on Sunday that matter the most. I mean, every game matters, but two games that are way more important. Alabama, they go to Gainesville. They play Florida. Could be the last Bediako era game for Alabama. Uh,
thank God.
Todd Golden. Some about this Florida roster this year has been so weird. Todd Golden's got a confusing squad. Last year they were killers. This year I don't know what they are. I mean, they have these big wins, right? And they've been playing hot, but they've had stretches where I'm looking at them and I go, this is not a national title team right here. And I think Alabama is on their heels. I think that they want a big win in conference to get that engine revved up for a tough February that they have
Mhm.
coming up. But I think the Gators say no. I think the Gators are going to beat Bama, and I could see them potentially winning by double digits in this one.
Yeah, I thought the way you were leading it in, I thought we were going to disagree again. I'm big on Florida right now. I think Coach Golden's team is starting to figure it out at the right time. I'm looking at an SEC where there's a lot of teams that are good but not great. I think Florida has an opportunity to be great, and I couldn't agree with you more. I think Florida ends up winning this ball game.
Yeah, and then the next game, 3 p.m. tip off in Lincoln. It is Illinois versus Nebraska. If Nebraska wants to prove anything to the world, they beat Illinois in this game. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm going to go quick here. I think Illinois wins this one. I think that they are bound for that kind of weird February month that they always have under Underwood, where they
Mhm.
are just unstoppable for a sec, and then they're gonna lose to an unranked like Maryland in a couple weeks, and we're gonna just kind of sit here and talk about, well, is Illinois actually good?
I think you're probably right on that. The only thing that gives me a little trepidation is this ball game is going to be played in Lincoln, and that place is going to be rocking. And I think that this team is legit good. And it's hard for me to do this, but I'm going to take the Nebraska Cornhuskers to upset Illinois. And I'm going to say that this ball game is close. It's going to come down to the wire. But give me the Cornhuskers. I've rode them this long. I think they're for real this year. Give me the Cornhuskers by a bucket.
I got one more game for us to predict.
Okay.
Monday night in Lubbock. It is Big 12 Mondays forever now. Kansas goes to play Texas Tech. This one's gonna be a war here.
Yeah. I think these teams are pretty evenly matched when they're both playing well. They both have a superstar. You know, Kansas has Peterson, Texas Tech has Toppin. They both have a lot of complementary players. Uh, I think Kansas is going to have what it takes against BYU, but I do not, repeat, do not think they're going to have what it takes to go to Lubbock to pull this out. I think this will be an entertaining ball game, but give me the Red Raiders by 6 or 7.
Okay, okay, I see. I think this is a weird one. I think it kind of depends on how Kansas performs over the weekend against BYU. If they're coming into this game full head of steam, I could see him. I don't want to say smoking Texas Tech, but I could see
Mm,
them put in a beatdown on Texas Tech if they come in hot. But this is how I feel about Kansas.
yeah.
Boo. So give me the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
All right. So we got a big slate to talk about next week for sure.
Yeah,
All right. So you want to go pull up the AP poll real quick? See what we're looking at?
absolutely. Let's pull up the AP poll. Here is your rankings for the week. So we are looking at our first five: St. John's, Miami of Ohio, Alabama, Clemson, and SLU in those first five. Any highlights that you have here?
Well, I think St. John's playing a little better. I think Patino is, I like coaches when it comes to college basketball. And I think he's going to have that team ready for a run, possibly at least to get into the tournament and make a little noise. It's nice to see Salou get ranked that high too, and don't sleep on that Clemson team either. We talked about them a little bit last week.
Yeah, and then the next five we got Louisville, Florida, Vandy,
Hey Nick.
Virginia, UNC.
Well, I think Louisville's going to be out of there.
Well, yeah, yeah.
And man, the team that I see from that line that I think is going to climb up is Florida. I really do. I've sold myself on that the two best SEC teams are Florida and Arkansas, and I think that they're going to work their way up. And I mean, there's some really good quality teams in there, though.
Our next five is Arkansas, Kansas, BYU, Purdue, and Texas Tech.
Yeah, Purdue's going to have to get some wins, man. I think BYU being right there at that 13, that if they could pick up the big win against Kansas, I mean, who knows? If you're BYU, especially being sort of one dimensional, I feel like you want to get the highest seed you can for the tournament. I think after the predictions I made, because I think I'm going to be right, that I think Texas Tech's going to be in that top 7 or 8 next week.
Well, okay. You're getting a little too cocky over there, aren't you?
Well,
Then the top 10 starts out Houston, Illinois, Iowa State, Michigan State, and Gonzaga. Houston, the biggest fall, I believe, after that loss to Texas Tech last
yeah.
week in Lubbock. They dropped, I believe, 4. I think they were 6. They were 6. I'm trying to fully see if they were the biggest dropper. Actually, no. Alabama was the biggest fall. They fell down 6 from 17 to 23.
Yeah, I thought that was a big drop though for Houston, especially in such a close ball game against a quality team. I mean, on the road, I don't know,
Yeah.
dude. I felt like that was tough, but everything else is just about where you would expect it to be.
Well, I want to highlight one thing on the AP poll website. They have a comment section, and you know how much I love message boards
Mm-hmm.
and reading college message board comments here. But there is one from Chris Temple 2 6 hours ago. There is always anti-Houston bias. Stay tuned for March. The only reason the Cougars lost at Lubbock on Saturday, what are some creative home court refereeing? And all you guys want to talk about is Duke. Duke. We beat a team that beat Duke.
Jesus.
Is Chris Temple 2 correct in this statement that this is anti-Houston bias?
I mean, I don't know about that. I know that they dropped him down pretty hard. I think Chris might be a little.
He might be
too
onto
more
something.
passionate.
He might be onto
Who
something.
knows? He could be.
And then our top 5 is Nebraska. They're going to be falling down, of course. Well, potentially falling down. I mean, and then they win. Who knows what happens with them? Duke, Michigan, UConn, and number 1, 60 votes for them in first place. The unanimous number 1 team in America is the Arizona Wildcats.
Yep. I mean, I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah, and just want to mention the receiving votes real quick. Tennessee the most 88, Kentucky 51, Georgia 49, Iowa 30, A&M 27, Auburn 15, NC State 8, SMU 4, St. Mary's 3, Utah State 2, Villanova 2, and Wisconsin 1 vote.
I tell you, man, watch out for that Auburn squad. They seem like they're starting to hit on some all cylinders at the right time, man. And I think they're better than I thought they were. Oh,
Yeah,
we got a
I want to.
special guest appearance.
Oh. uh, I want to talk about A&M for a sec. They're on there. They're my team to watch out of the unranks
Yeah,
here because they're unranked, but they're number one in the SEC standings right now.
they are. And
According to Joe Lenardi, has them as his auto bid on
I know. I
bracketology.
saw that earlier. They're handling stuff in conference play. I mean,
Yeah,
you play who is on your schedule, you know, and they've. I mean, even in losses, they've been real close.
I was kind of shocked. I didn't think that they'd be as good after Buzz went to Maryland, but they won the divorce right there. Buckyball reigns supreme over
That's
in
right.
A&M. And since we're talking about bracketology, I have all the multi bids written down here and the acquired bids out of all those conferences. So
Cool.
so we have two 10 bids here, the Big Ten and the SEC. Those acquired bids are Michigan and A&M right now. Then or I want to say number 9, but the ACC has 9. Duke obviously is who he believes the acquired will be. 7 teams. The Big 12, Arizona is the acquired. 3 from the Big East and 3 from the Mountain West, UConn and San Diego State, respectively, and then 2 from the West Coast Conference. That is Gonzaga as the acquired. Is there any objections that you have to that?
No. I think that I mean, the only thing that I would possibly see that could change there is I think that maybe the Big 12 could end up with a few more bids if some of these teams can start getting a couple wins there. I could see the ACC falling off a little bit. They've kind of surprised us this year though. They've got some
Yeah,
pretty deep conference there, but I mean, a lot's going to be told in the next 2-3 weeks. And it's going to be fun to check back in with that and see how many auto bids get put up there because I think there's going to be a lot more.
yeah, and I mean, I'm looking at it right now. If we're talking about the SEC, Lenardi has Kentucky as a 7 still. He has
Yeah.
them. It's updated to today. He has them as a 7, and Wisconsin would be playing them at the 10 in St. Louis. That game would be held in. I mean that's still it's real interesting to me to see how everyone else feels about Kentucky compared to how we feel about Kentucky. We think Kentucky's a bubble team probably or on that fringe of being a first 4.
I know if they don't start winning some damn SEC ball games, I don't see how they're not going to be. I mean, I understand all the talent they've got. I understand the tradition, yada yada yada. I got to see some more. Beating, coming back and beating LSU and beating Tennessee, whatever, dude. Like, I got to see more. So we'll see. If they beat Arkansas this weekend, maybe I'll agree with Ocho Lenardi. But otherwise, I see him as a 10 or 11 seed right now.
All right, and it sounds like it's a good time to transition into our top 10.
Absolutely,
Now
man.
that now that we've had a little chance to complain about the media.
All
So
right. Do you want me to kick us off this week or what?
yeah, kick us off with the honorable mentions.
All right, man. I've only got 2 this week because I've copped out and I've got another tie at 10. I have trouble
I got
separating.
4. I got 4.
Uh,
So
but the only honorable mentions I got this week are Iowa State, which I
okay.
understand that the AP has them in the top 10. I think they're right there on the fringe. And the other one I got is Arkansas. I really think that the Razorbacks got a chance to really put a knife in the throat of Kentucky this weekend, and I hope they do. Who do you got in your honorable mentions?
I got Vandy. I think that win last night propelled them into my honorable mentions. They would have been off.
That's
But
respectful.
yeah, and I said it last week. Until they lose a game, the Red Hawks are going to be there. The Red
That's
Hawks are going
awesome.
to be there. You can't be undefeated in my eyes and not be an honorable mention at least as a top whatever team? Or
The Green Duck agrees.
would they go out and beat Texas Tech any given any given day? I want to say Sunday. No. Would they go beat Michigan State? Probably not. But still, I mean, they're undefeated. They've shown some real battle scars through
Mm-hmm.
this time, and they've been able to rebound off those and become a better team. I feel like. I mean, that Buffalo game that we watched a couple weeks ago when they played the Bulls, and
Oh yeah,
it
that
looked
was a
like
heck of a ball
Buffalo.
game.
It looked like Buffalo was going to pull away with that, and then what happened? They just kept on hitting their shots. Miami of Ohio did, and I feel like they are one of those teams that you get them in the tournament, they could be a second weekend team just off of catching teams at the right time.
Yeah,
And
but I'm going to tell you though, the higher the seed they get, that might make it tougher for that, dude. I mean, it
yeah,
just depends. Here's the thing, and I'll hit on this briefly because I know we're running out of time. But if they got on a 4 seed, that's tough. That means that second weekend, the first thing you can do is got to play a 1 seed. But you know, I can see both schools of thought on it. I do totally respect that. They're a good squad.
yeah. Well, wait.
Okay.
I'm not done.
Oh, you got another one.
I got two more.
Oh,
I
Lord.
got two more. I got Illinois Fighting Illini. They are, if I were to have an 11, they're probably my 11. It's just, I don't, they're still a little weird to me. I gotta see a consistent flow
Okay.
of success from them. And then I got Purdue as well in my honorable mentions. I kept them in the honorable mention spot because they do have some quality wins, right? But I'm gonna be real. I'm not impressed by them. I'm not really that impressed by them anymore. I feel like that they've been exposed as the Purdue of old from a couple years ago. I'm not saying that they're gonna magically get the 1 seed and then lose to a 16 again, but I'm saying they could be one of those teams that get tripped up by a mid-major come tournament time. Matt Painter has history of it with
Mm.
Purdue. I mean,
Hell,
back-to-back
Memphis
years.
almost beat them first game of the
Yeah,
year, and we see what the Tigers are doing. So,
yeah. I mean,
yep.
who knows what happens? Of course, Purdue might get their act together. They might go to the Final Four. I'm just not that impressed by this squad right here. Braden Smith has his stock has kind of fell off in the
Yeah.
past few weeks, and I think it's just because this team doesn't have anyone but him and Trey Kaufman-Wren. They are the only two players on this team that are consistently having to put their bodies on the line to win a game. I mean, Braden Smith is averaging 38 minutes a game on the court, basically.
Yep.
He's putting his body on the line, and what's he getting in return? 46 dropped on his head by a freshman, a loss to UCLA, and then a loss to Indiana. What is
Fan of my phone. He's
what
hot.
is he doing? What is he doing? He's sacrificing his life for nothing.
Yeah. Well, I don't agree with you there. I'm going to go ahead and truck through my 10 through 6 real quick. A, because we've done these rankings a lot, and B, because I can smell pork steak cooking.
Oh.
Now, I've got a tie. It's hard for me to differentiate these teams, Texas Tech and Florida. I think they're both hitting their stride at the right time. I think that Florida is only going to rise in this rankings. And I think Texas Tech, that win over Houston, proved a lot to me, man. At 9, I've got the Fighting Illini of Illinois. I think they are also kind of hitting a stride at the right time. And we'll see. They've got some big games coming up. We'll see how it goes. And sticking with the Big Ten at number 8, I've got Michigan State. And if the Sparties can pull off the win over the Wolverines, man, that's going to rise them up even higher. They're a dangerous squad. At 7, I've got the Cornhuskers. I couldn't drop them much. I mean, you lose by, 2 or 3 to Michigan? Can't drop you much. And then at 6, that's where I got my Houston Cougars.
Your Houston Cougars.
Well, I think that this team is going to get it together at the right time. And I think that, some people would say, well, Matt, Texas Tech just beat them. Yeah, I think that you will see more scoring come from that squad. And I've got Houston at 6. So give me your
Yeah,
10 through
let me
6.
ask the question to you. Are
Sure.
you the Chris Temple too for that? Are
I
you the
am.
Chris
That's my alias online.
Temple? So,
That but don't tell anybody.
oh, what about DJ Wackadoo?
We can't go there.
uh, so 10 through 6, we got I got number 10. I got Texas Tech. The only reason that they're not higher, they have one of the best resumes. Really, I mean, they've beaten Duke and they've
And
beaten
Houston.
and Houston now. They have one of the best resumes. They have 4 losses though. The 4 losses are the reason that they're not
Yeah,
higher.
I agree.
It just
100%.
then number 9, I had Houston drop to 9
Mm.
here. I think that this loss to Texas Tech uh, is logically you should put Texas Tech above Houston because well they beat them right. They're the better team then, but I think Houston just has the better wins. I think they have the better performances than Texas Tech does. 8, I got Michigan State. I have a big question mark written on the line that I have about them because what was that game last night against Rutgers? I saw something saying that Rutgers has lost $1 billion since joining the Big Ten a decade ago. 15% of that has to be Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper. I'm just gonna put
That's
that.
true.
I'm gonna put that
Sure.
right there. 15% of that has to be those two NIL decisions right there. Then number 7, I got Iowa State. They had a bounce back week. You had them on your audible mentions. I heard you say that and I went, oh,
Yeah.
we're two different people here.
Yeah.
Number
Not as big on them.
Number 6, I got Gonzaga. I mentioned it earlier. They had a really weird game on I believe Saturday. They played San Francisco, escaped that one with a 2-point win, 68-66. I I know last week I was slandering the West Coast Conference, and I'm still going to slander the West Coast Conference. They're a bunch of people who just don't know the sport of basketball. But
That's harsh.
it gets to a point where I'm starting to think, well, is Gonzaga really the world beaters that they looked like they were uh, last month when they beat Alabama by 20? Are they this team still, or are they kind of starting to slow down a little bit? Because this is the worst time to start slowing down. I feel like February, going into February, this is the time where you have to speed up the way that you play, and they're starting to have these close games where it's starting to kind of confuse me about them.
Hmm. Well, that's funny you should say that because at my number 5, I've got Gonzaga. I think
All
they're a
right.
matchup nightmare for people. I think Alabama got a little dose of that. I do think they're playing with their food a little bit, but you can only play who's on your schedule. I think they're going to get a big win over St. Mary's, and I think they're still legit. At 4, I've got Dan Hurley and the UConn Huskies. I wanted to put them a little higher, but man, I got to see them play some more quality opponents. They've kind of played with their food a little bit too. They've almost got beaten a couple of times, but they're still very good, and I think could win the national title. 3, I've got the Wolverines, same spot as last week. Uh, Eke out the win over Nebraska. That's a big win. 2, Arizona.
Okay. Okay.
I thought about it, and I do think that their win over BYU is more impressive possibly than Duke beating in Louisville. The problem is Arizona beat them by 3, and Duke beat Louisville by as many as they wanted to beat them by. So I've still got the Blue Devils at 1. I just think they're a more complete team. But man, I swear, a Duke Arizona national title game would be one for the ages. So
It would be the Duckworth Bowl
it
because
would
it's
be.
been the two teams that we've been talking
It would
about
be.
all year. Uh, my starting off my number 5, I got Nebraska. They went down a peg. I think they were my number 4 last week. I just mainly off of the fact they were my 5 last week. They don't go anywhere just because of they had a good loss. I don't know how you could say it. They had a very good loss
Yeah.
against
Yeah.
Michigan. They choked it. They choked it, but they still feel like they learned something from
They took
Michigan.
they took a juggernaut to right down to the wire. So
Yeah. Then number 4, I have a flip flop on 3 and 4 from last week. I have UConn at 4. They've been able to coast in these games, but they don't win impressive enough to me.
Mhm.
And that's a weird thing to say,
No,
right?
I get it.
But we're thinking about the UConn teams of the past few years. Dan Hurley's had them killing teams at points, and it doesn't feel like they have that real killer edge
Mhm.
there, where they've just been able to go full game, all gas, no brakes. Maybe the Big East is better than we think they are or think it is, right? Because I mean they're having close games. Providence, Georgetown,
Yeah.
Seton Hall, who's probably a tournament team, right?
Yeah, I would
But
say
the
so.
but then we're also forgetting about like Villanova and St. John's are also there. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows really what they are? And then number 3, I got Michigan. They flip over UConn because I think they had the better week. Obviously, they beat Nebraska. Uh, they deserve it. And so my 2 and my number 1. Let me get a nice drum roll here. Yeah, it's the same. It's Duke 2, Arizona 1. Duke, they murdered Louisville. I'm gonna be flat out. They killed Louisville. But Arizona, they beat BYU. To be the man, you have to beat the man, or you have to have the man lose. And the man has not
Woo!
lost. The man has not lost.
Yeah, you're right there.
All
All
right.
right, to close us out this week, you guys, we love to do a good top 5, and Charlie came up with a good one. I think because we're seeing some really good teams this year. I mean, there's no question that our top 4, 5 have been pretty close to the same. Now, whether these teams are on the level of some of these teams we're fixing to mention, I don't know. So we
They might
decided to
become.
do our top 5 seasons, teams, whatever you want to call it, of all time.
Yes,
Uh,
and we have one caveat. One caveat. Only one per team.
yeah.
So
So,
we can't have UCLA 68, 69, UCLA 70,
yeah,
71. Because that'd be unfair. Because it'd probably be them and then Indiana's undefeated year. If we're
sure.
being real here.
Yeah. I think that's a good caveat. I've got a couple honorable mentions I want to start off with. One is the 65-66 Texas Western team. And the reason
Okay,
I'm
that's a good
putting them
shout.
on
That's a good
there
shout.
is this was the first time that African Americans were able to play in the NCAA tournament and play NCAA ball. And, man, what did they do? They won the whole damn. You know,
Yeah.
there's a great movie. It's kind of underrated called Glory Road about it. Pretty damn good movie. It's not up there with like Hoosiers or anything, but it's a good basketball movie. I ask people to go check that out. I got the 81-82 North Carolina team, and I wanted to put them on there, man, but I just couldn't quite do it. They did win the national title. Michael Jordan, James Worthy, Sam Perkins. I mean,
Okay.
this is a legit squad that could easily be in the top 5. And then I got one other honorable mention, and this one pained me not to put them in my top 5 because they had 6 NBA players off this squad.
Okay.
And I believe 5 of them were in the lottery. I don't know. I'm talking about the 06-07 Florida squad. Joakim Noah, Al Horford, 35-5, won the national title. I just felt like those 5 losses, I just couldn't quite put them in there. So there's my honorable mentions. You got any honorable mentions, Charlie?
I got two. I got two. I'll explain to you why I had my hands in my head whenever you mentioned 81,
Okay.
82. You can see later. But my honorable mentions, I got two. I got the Running Rebels 90-91. I
Mm,
think I mean they were very 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 good. Jerry Tarkanian right
yeah,
there.
but didn't win the national title that year,
They
though.
didn't win the national title.
That's
I
the
will.
little caveat I threw on my own list. I could not put a team in that did not win the national title. But if they did, that's the squad.
Right there. I mean, they were very, very, very elite. I mean, 45 game win streak.
Oh, yeah. They were
That
excellent.
that that's all you really have to say. A 45 game win streak. Larry Johnson, Stacey Ogman,
Mm,
those two right there, just Greg Anthony too. I
yeah,
mean, you got
it was a
three
really good
players right
team.
there that are I don't want to say NBA like legends, of course, but very, very remembered NBA players
Absolutely.
from the '90s. And then my other honorable mention. This might be a recency bias thing, but I think it's the best of the recent national title winners, the 22-23 UConn team. Dan Hurley had a squad. I mean, a absolute squad in 22-23, and they were a team I don't think I really even had going deep whenever I made my bracket because I just didn't care about UConn. I'll be flat out. I didn't care about UConn, but they were dogging everyone. It felt like for a bit. And think about they didn't even win their tournament, their
Yeah.
conference tournament. They got into that stretch though in the tournament, and they played Iona. They beat them by 24. They played St. Mary's, who were the 5. They beat them by 25. They played Arkansas, who was the 8. They beat them by 23. Gonzaga, they beat by 18. Miami, they beat by 13. And then San Diego State, they beat by 17. I mean, right there, they had no games that were close
Yeah.
in the tournament. They were, I mean, just a elite squad right there. I think that's UConn's best squad. I'll be flat out and say that.
Well, it's funny you should mention the Huskies because I actually have a number 5 Husky team, and it's not that one.
Okay.
And I tell you, I contemplated on that one the year after. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I also contemplated on the 04 squad that was really good. I went back to the 98-99 Jim Calhoun coached UConn team that went 34-2. It was led by Rip Hamilton. They ended up beating Duke in the national title game. Man, a hell of a road to the tournament. And I knew there was going to be a Huskies team in there. I mean, also props to the Kemba Walker run. But to me, this was the one, 34-2. I mean, it was it was a hell of a year. So that's my number 5. Who you got at 5?
I'm not even lying here. I got 98-99 Duke. That's my
Wow.
number 5. I got them as my number 5. I mean, 37-2. That was their record. Did they lose to UConn in the national title?
Yes, they did.
But I mean, they were still a very, very elite squad. They were up there for number 1 for most of the year. I mean, they lost a game. They lost one game to Cincinnati. They were the 4, then the 3, then the 2 for a bit. But besides that, they were the 1, really. Yeah. And I feel like they were just so dominant right there. The Shane Battier team.
Yep.
And I think that's probably Coach K's best Duke roster or best Duke team. I'll say it. Even though they didn't win, I mean, they went 37-2 is a very tough feat to have.
It is.
One of those losses coming in the tournament.
Yep. All right, at 4, I've got the 2011-2012 Kentucky Wildcats. Of course, this was Coach Cal's only national title. I really, really, really wish I could have put the Memphis team from 070 on here, but I couldn't. They didn't get it done. This team did. They averaged beating their opponents by 17 points that year. And they ended up with the number 1 and 2 pick in the draft, and Anthony Davis and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. There's another Kentucky squad I thought about, 95-96, the Untouchables. They were great, but in the end, that's the Wildcat squad I went with at 4.
Okay, so number 4, I got this team. I understand the record of this team, right? I based some of mine off of could they get it done today? Like you put them on a court today, playing against Arizona, maybe not Arizona, but playing against like Arizona, Duke, Michigan, or any of these other rosters. Could they get it done against these teams? I have the 71-72 UCLA team right here.
Okay.
At 4. Hear me out.
Could they get it done? Okay.
Could they get it done? Could they get it done?
Yeah.
This was Bill Walton and the boys right here. This is Bill Walton, John Wooden, and them. 30-0 that year, but I feel like these 3 teams I have ahead of them are better. I'm gonna say it. I feel like these teams are better.
Okay. At number 3, I've got a Duke squad, and I thought about the year maybe 2 years after you, because you still had Battier, you still had Dunleavy, and you had Jay Williams. But I actually went with the 91-92 team that went back to back. This was Hurley. This was my boy Christian Leitner, 34-2, and they beat the Fab Five Michigan team 75-51 in the final game.
Yeah,
I mean that's that. I mean that team had Chris Webber, Jalen Rose. That team was all it, right? Till
yeah.
they ran up against Coach K in the squad. So that's my Duke entry at number 3.
All right, number 3. You're gonna laugh at me again. It's another old one. Who do you think this one's gonna be?
Probably the 75-76 Hoosiers.
75-76 Hoosiers.
Yeah.
32-0, the last undefeated team to win the national title. Again, it's another one. Could they get it done today? No. They're very.
You're comparing apples to oranges, man.
I am. Yes, I am. Proudly, I am. I mean, they were a very solid squad. They have very good wins. They beat their first game was number 2 UCLA. They beat them by 20.
Yep.
That year. Then they beat Kentucky in overtime by 9. And then you go to their tournament time. They beat St. John's by 20, Alabama by 15, Marquette by 9, then UCLA by 14, and then Michigan by 18 in the NCAA tournament. But I want to highlight that I believe Michigan was the number 9 team here, so they kind of Mickey Mouse a Michigan team here.
You play who you got, man. That's my number 2 squad.
Okay.
The last undefeated team, 75-76 Indiana. Quinn Buckner, Scott May. I mean, that Bobby Knight at the helm. Let me see another team go undefeated, brother. I'm not saying that could this team have beaten the 2011-2012 Kentucky team? Doubtful. But different eras, you got to throw things different ways. You said it, to be the man, you got to beat the man. Well, nobody beat these guys, man. So that's who I got it to.
It's funny you mentioned the 2011-2012 Kentucky team because they're my number 2.
I get it.
38-2. This is Coach Cal's magnum opus right here. This was his best team, best recruited team, I believe, as well.
Absolutely.
His best recruited team, his best just overall from the number 1 player of Anthony Davis to really the 6th man on this team. They were just a deep team that were able to get it done whenever they wanted to this year. So now we got our number 1s. Who's your
I mean, you've already mentioned it, and I think you kind of disrespected the 71-72 UCLA Bruins. They went 30-0.
Okay.
Bill Walton at the head. Let me tell you something. They averaged beating their opponents, and this includes the tournament, by 30 points. Okay? They were not just beating people, they were demolishing them. I mean, to me, there's another, the 68-69 team was really good. There were some other squads, but in the end, dude, I looked and I thought, man, as Jim Harbaugh says, who's got it better? Who do you got at the top squad?
Now it's time to reveal why I had my hands in. What?
I bet you put that North Carolina squad up there, didn't you?
I proudly put that North Carolina
It's a
squad,
really good team.
81-82. Dean Smith's best team. I totally believe this. Dean Smith's best team right here. The only Dean Smith team to win the national title.
Yeah.
It's not the only team. 93.
No.
93
yeah, 93 won as well.
But
that team was stacked as well.
And I mean, if we want to talk about it here, all the players on this team got drafted. Was this when the NBA draft had 4 or 5 rounds? Yes, but still, every player on this team got drafted to an NBA team. And you have James Worthy, who was the number 1 overall pick. You got Michael Jordan, who was the number 3 overall pick in 84. You got Sam Perkins, who was the number 4 overall pick in 84. I mean, you have 3 top 5 drafted players, different classes, two different classes, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's the amount of talent you have, and who I mean, who doesn't remember Michael Jordan hitting that shot?
Yeah,
18
yeah.
seconds.
I mean, and like you said, dude. I mean, he was freshman on that squad.
Yeah.
Uh, James Worthy was the man, dude. Uh, this list, I feel like, might have been the toughest one we've done so far
Oh, it
because there
was.
was a
It was.
lot of teams. I mean, there was 3 or 4 Duke teams that I could have picked. You're talking about North Carolina. That team that Tyler Hansborough led was freaking awesome. The '93 squad that you're talking about that Dean Smith won with Jerry Stackhouse, Rasheed Wallace. I mean, there's so many good teams, and you know, maybe we'll get one out this year. I think this year we're going to have a little more parity, though.
All right. All right.
All
And
right.
like closing thoughts here. Do you got any closing thoughts?
Yeah, man, I want to give a shout out. It looks like the weather is going to hold it up. Duck is going to be out there. My son is going to be calling the Boot Hill Conference Tournament right here on the Boot Hill Sports Network. You'll have him and Travion. Will Mark be there as well?
Mark will be there. I think Chris
Man,
will be there too. It's going to be a full house.
and the way the seeding looks, if the Tigers can pull it off against the Bulldogs, we're going to have a rematch of the Battle of the Boot Hill in the semifinals. I know I'm going to be tuned in. I love watching local hoops. I love hearing my son call games. I love hearing Mark call games. I love seeing all the local action back home. So that kicks off Saturday. Am I correct?
Absolutely. Saturday at 9 a.m. We got the girls, the 4 girls game or 3 girls game starting off. That is be 2 seed Malden, 7 seed South Pim to start our night or start our day, and then to end the night we have at 7 South Pim versus Crothersville, the 4-5
Mm.
varsity.
Well, I can tell you, folks, I played in the Boot Hill Conference Tournament. I covered a lot of them. It is one of the most competitive conferences in the state. It's going to be a great time. So if you can get on out there, if you've been logged in with the snow like all of us, get on out there and support your local teams. If not, tune in right here to the Boot Hill Sports Network, and you're guaranteed to get some good coverage.
You
That's all
are,
I got, Doug.
and do you have a quick prediction who's going to win the varsity tournament?
Man, if I say it, they're going to revoke my Tiger membership. But I think Hayti is probably the best team in the conference right now. But I'm going to tell you, man, look out. Look out for the Malden Green Wave.
Okay.
I think that could be the sleeper pick of the tournament if they could figure out a way to get into that final. So
I could see it. I could see it. Obviously, my allegiances lie. The first ever 5 seed to win a Boot Hill Conference tournament will happen this year. It'll be the Crothersville Tigers. Then
that's who I'm rooting for sure.
JV's gonna win. Obviously, they're the 32. They're gonna win it all. And then the girls don't play in the tournament this year, so I can't say the girls are gonna win. But nonetheless, here we are now. Saturday, it will be Boot Hill Conference action on the Boot Hill Sports Network. But for me in Crothersville, a little duck
For Big Duck and Bartlett.
It's been Duck Hoops, episode 9. We'll see you next Wednesday, unless I got a game Wednesday. Then we might have it Thursday. We might have it Friday. We might do it live. Who knows? I don't even know at this point. But
We'll keep you guys in the loop.
We'll see you when we see you here on the Boot Hill Sports Network. And have a good night. Stay safe in this cold.